welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a girl talk, advice. We're going to sit, we're going to have a chat. I'm going to give you some advice that you might not want to hear, but I am a Sag. I am very, very honest. So I asked about 2 weeks ago for your guy, or was it 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, somewhere along those lines, for dilemmas from you guys, because I've not been feeling myself lately for sort of like the past 2 weeks. Nothing major, I'm cool, and I'm feeling a lot more positive the last couple of days, so I thought I am going to come back to YouTube with a bit of a bang. I've got plenty of uploads planned for you guys, hopefully twice a week. That's 4 twice a week uploads. We'll see how it goes. I am the queen of not doing what she says, so appreciate all you guys who still stick around. So yeah, I asked a couple of weeks ago for your guys' dilemmas, anything you're going through at the moment that you want a bit of advice on. Sit down, have a nice chat with me, and hopefully this will be the first of many. I'd like to do some more like this, so I'm gonna get into the dilemmas you guys have sent me. Okay, lots of friend stuff, work dilemmas. So the first one is, one of my friends who I've known for years has recently been putting me down in front of others, and she doesn't make me feel good about myself. There's times she treats me differently to other friends and I don't know why. Should I confront the situation or cut it off, or like, do I have another option? You've known her for years and recently she started putting you down in front of others, or has it been like a gradual thing? Point blank, anyone who doesn't make you feel good, you shouldn't surround yourself with. I believe that, you know, it is healthy to cut people off. You outgrow people, you don't fit each other's interests anymore, and it clearly sounds like she's really not that bothered if she's happy to put you down and treat you differently to her other friends. It's like, does she consider you on the same level as them? That's not really fair. I think if you don't know why, like, honestly, my first gut instinct is to say, like, cut her off. You don't need people like that in your life. I'm sure you've got many other friends who actually value you and don't treat you differently to their other friends. Like, first instinct, cut her off, but hear me out. Have a conversation with her first. Confront her from a curiosity point of view. Just say, hey, I noticed that things have been a bit different between us lately. Maybe give an example of a time and just say, you know, this is one example of a few. Don't come from an angry point of view, come from a genuine, like, I'm a bit confused, like, have I done something wrong? Do we not vibe anymore? That sort of thing. And genuinely just speak with her and see what's up. I mean, if she takes it really badly, then you're already in your mindset like, well, I'm just gonna distance myself from the friendship anyway, so what is the worst that can happen? I just think, like, I think cut her off, but have a conversation first of all, and then if she doesn't take it well, proves your point and there's no harm done, because in your head you were already gonna, like, distance yourself from the friendship. But if it swings the other way and you confront her and you guys have a genuine conversation and you work things out, then it's a win-win, isn't it? Because then you've got your friend back and maybe they're going through something, I don't know. But by the sounds of it, I think that snip snip. But I definitely think that you should give her the time of day to actually have the conversation first and foremost, rather than just ghosting. Okay, next dilemma. So, how have you found your friends support you with Instagram and YouTube? Work friends particularly. I feel like a lot of people still don't get it. I don't have a lot of friends. This is the thing, like, I run a very small circle because I don't give people the opportunity to judge me. If you do, I probably don't hear about it because I only keep people that I really like and trust around me. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about me doing YouTube. People probably have, but just haven't heard it. Work friends, the work environment that I'm in is like education. I do have mainly middle-aged colleagues, so I've never really been asked about this, or I've never brought it up in conversation that I do this. The job that I do is very different to my YouTube, Instagram life. So my current job I can't really speak on because of that situation, but previous jobs, everyone was really supportive about it to my face. I still have a lot of my old work friends now message me. I sort of gauge what people are about before I start talking about this, because I appreciate that a lot of people don't really understand, like, why are you spending all this time going out taking pictures and sitting at home behind the camera. Like, I feel like it depends what sort of generation you're working with, because people in our generation, millennials, Gen Zs, I feel like they can really relate to why people are so creative on social media. It's a new outlet, regardless whether you want to make a career in this avenue or not, I feel like they can understand. Extra income, it's a creative platform that you can do whatever you want with, and it's kind of like a release, isn't it? Like sometimes you can just go on to Instagram and YouTube and get creative, so it can be hard. I think you've got to just judge the person who you're speaking with and decide whether you want to bring that topic of conversation up with them again. From the get-go, I've just never really spoken with anyone that I don't feel like would maybe understand it, or if I've had a conversation where they didn't understand it, then I just didn't bring it up again. If someone is genuinely interested in your life outside of work, then they will take the time to understand what you do, or they will just acknowledge it and know that's something that you do and embrace it even if they don't understand it. I'm sorry if this didn't shed any light on it for you, but that's just the way that I move forward with it. I hope that it can maybe bring a little bit of an opinion on the situation. Next one. I've been friends with benefits for this guy for over a year. We don't have feelings for each other, but part of me knows I have to stop at some point. I just don't know when. We both have fun and it's quite casual, but should I call it quits? I don't really want to. Okay, you say you enjoy it and it's casual, no one has feelings, no one's getting hurt, that's fine, you do you. But if you're asking me and you are weighing up whether to continue this or not, then surely there's an inkling of doubt, and I feel like you should maybe listen to that a little bit and think like, well, why do I want to stop it? Do I want to look for something more serious? Do I just not want this relationship with this person anymore? Is there eventually going to be feelings? I feel like you have to think about, why have you asked the question of, should I continue? I think it's very telling that any doubt has come into your mind, because there's got to be a reason for it. So have a think about what that reason is. Maybe I'll see you in the next video with a dilemma once you've worked out why. You've just got to weigh up whether that's a make or break decision to just call it quits for you. Right, I've got some background info. I do like as much detail as possible so I can really gauge my idea on the situation. So at work, obviously in the pandemic, people lose their jobs and it's not uncommon to, but our employer promised he could pay us all full wage for 10 months before furlough was even a thing. So they've been agreed, full pay, even if you can't make it to work, we're not going to give you the 80%, we don't even know about this yet, we're going to pay you in full. The staff turnover is 10 in the space of 3.5 years, so 10 people have left and had spaces filled within 3.5 years. That's pretty intense if you're in a smaller business. I'm assuming this is a smaller business. And there's been some tension and headbutting with another trainee advisor. She has given names, but I'm going to change them. Billy is a trainee advisor and the main advisor, David. And there's been signs of bullying and harassment, but that's another long story. Okay. Bit of tension between Billy and David. Moving on to May, Billy gets made redundant because of cash flow issues. I'm assuming David told him that there was cash flow issues. And there is not enough work for 2 advisors, but he made a part-time staff full-time that same day. So Billy filed for a grievance of employment and is taking him to a public tribunal for unfair dismissal. Go Billy. Go Billy. You should not be, as an employer, how can you let someone go that could potentially be a better asset to your business because they're only in training? How can you let someone go and say that it's to do with cash issues, but then bump someone's hours up from part-time to full-time? I'm sorry, but this sounds shady already. Go Billy. He's taking serious action because he doesn't feel like how he's treated has been fair. Then I see stuff I'm not meant to, and it turns out David has basically made up documents to try and destroy Billy's career. So Billy submitted a whistleblowing form and harassment report. He has evidence of calls where David is conspiring with HR to go and jump him and make calls to ruin his career and other nasty things. This sounds like some Gossip Girl workplace. What in the hell? What in the EastEnders is going on in your workplace, girl? So David's planning on jumping Billy, which sounds absolutely horrific, and I'm glad that Billy has found out about this so that he knows. What is ironic is David is now trying to get this person who is sent in their dilemma. David is trying to get her to become a trainee advisor, which costs money. So she said, I thought you had no money and there's not enough work for 2 advisors. So it's all hell at work and I want to move out and I want out. He's quite racist and full of himself, a bit like Ted Bundy. Even has an evil look when he's mad. Oh my god, I literally... This is creepy as hell. Okay, I got approached by another big advisor firm. However, David absolutely hates them as a company and slanders them at every cost. Obviously, I haven't told him about them approaching me, but they've offered me a job and give me the proper training I need. I need to write a letter of resignation, but I don't know where to start. I don't want him to know where I'm going to, and I don't want to say anything about this job to him, as I know he'll make my life a living hell until my notice is up. But also he has paid for an exam, which is at the end of this month, and the bigger firm plan to hire me in September/October time. And the managing director that approached me knows about the whole situation at my work, how toxic he is, so he won't even ask him for a reference. But I just don't know how to start my letter of resignation. What do I put in? How do I make it so I leave swiftly and cleanly? Now we've got the facts, ladies and gents. Oh my gosh, who else is sweating after that? Because I am. Whew, that sounds like a bit of a nightmare workplace. I have worked in many a place and I've had some bad experiences, so I can relate to you. I understand what it's like to be somewhere where you just want to leave, very toxic. So where to start? Sounds like you're quite buddy-buddy with Billy and it's all good there. It's just this guy, this power-hungry David, who clearly thinks that he can demand people do what he wants, and he's got the power and the money because he's got a bigger title, which is just corporate all over, isn't it? Sounds like Billy is doing absolutely the right thing and he's got his whole situation, but I can understand why you want to leave because you've seen this all unfold before you. How to leave? I would say absolutely get out of there as soon as you can. You have a new firm that really want you, so you don't need to worry about finding something else because you have a position that you can go to, and they've already told you that because they know the situation, they're not expecting a reference and they're cool with that. I could be wrong here. I'm literally just speaking off of my own knowledge, so apologies if this is actually breaking any contract or whatever, but as far as I'm aware, if you don't work your notice period, then it may just stop your employer giving a new employer a reference because you didn't fill the contract, so they don't necessarily have to give you a good reference or a reference at all. This new employer doesn't care about that. This is literally just me. Like I said, I don't know if you can get into any more trouble for not working your notice period. I have left previous businesses that were toxic without working a notice period and I've never had any issues. I don't know whether they can take you to like a tribunal like Billy's doing with David, but I would write a letter of resignation, say some positive points if there are any, like whether they've taught you a lot, whether you like the company as a whole, but then I would go into the feedback. I would just say that the things you've seen you're not comfortable with and you wish to move on without working your notice period. I would also go into like some constructive criticism. I believe you can also in most workplaces hand a notice in to not necessarily just your manager, but like the managers above them. So it might be worthwhile, if you want to avoid any further conflict with David, writing the letter discussing why you're leaving, and I would give it to the manager above yours to avoid that conflict, and then that's, you know, it's down to that manager to have a discussion with him. What is that? Oh my god, a balloon just went past and I thought it was like a UFO. Like a balloon has obviously been let go out of a child's hand. It was like a big circle right close to my house. I thought aliens were invading for a hot second. Sorry, I realise that's completely off topic from the current situation. So yeah, I would not hesitate in getting your notice in. I would get into this new workplace as quickly as possible. I honestly wouldn't care that someone had paid for an exam for me. If they are treating their other staff members like that, what's to say they're not going to treat you like that next? So I would get out of there. I wouldn't care about the exam. I would move over to the new firm as quickly as possible, and that's just my 2 cents. I personally would have run for the hills already, so I'm surprised you're still there. Well done, you're very strong. Ultimately, you need to take care of yourself, protect yourself from anything bad that's going to happen. So leave on a note where you can give them some feedback, explain to them why you don't think that the workplace is very healthy. Just focus on you, get to that next job. At the end of the day, life goes on outside of a job. I appreciate that was a very long-winded one, but I hope that helps. Next, since lockdown, I've started having thoughts of hopelessness. How should I deal with those thoughts? So I did reach out to the person that sent me this and made sure that they were okay and that it wasn't something that was like on a more serious level, and they've reassured me that it's not, and it was just their way of wording it, basically worrying that things aren't going to get good again. They've lost their job during the pandemic, and unfortunately where they are has gone into lockdown again. So I can understand how you must feel, because I relate back to myself during the pandemic, during the real heat of it all, when we couldn't even leave the house. And yeah, I felt exactly the same. I honestly was a shell of myself. I would barely leave my room. I wouldn't really do anything. I didn't have the energy to do anything. I wasn't taking care of myself, wasn't sleeping well, wasn't eating well. You know, this has changed so many people's lives, and I think you've got to reassure yourself that it is okay and it's completely normal to feel these negative feelings at the moment, but you have to understand that it will get better. And it is really hard to reassure yourself when your mind is so foggy with all of the negative things that are going on, to try and see the good in every situation. So you know, you've got more time to spend at home potentially. You can go out on a walk and enjoy the surroundings. You can have a bit more peace. And I know that that's so hard to like think of as a positive thing when you're lacking money, and then you start worrying about the bills and you can't see friends or vulnerable adults and all of this stuff. But you just have to try and think of any silver lining that you can from the situation. Wake up and think of the 3 things that you are most grateful for right now and for today, and what are you going to get done today, even if it's just one small thing. Are you just going to have a shower and get back into some fresh pajamas, because I see that as an accomplishment? Take things at a slow pace. Find out what you like to do to fill your time that really helps distract you. Is that exercise? Is that baking? Is it watching films and reading magazines? Who knows? But you just have to try and do whatever you can to distract yourself for the time being until you start seeing that things are slowly improving. And also it really does help to take a step back and realize how many other people are in that situation with you, because I guarantee if you speak to family members, friends, work colleagues, they probably feel the same way that you do, and sometimes that can be really reassuring to have each other to lean on. So don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you know in your personal life and actually have this discussion with them. How are they doing? Maybe meet up for a social distance picnic, whatever you fancy. The pandemic has literally affected every single person in the world. We're all going through very similar, very strange times together. It's just best to really talk about it and lean on each other. Sending all my love, and I promise that you will feel better soon. Someone sent in that their ex sent them an apology text, but I CBF to reply back. So, sis, why are you even messaging me? You go. You can't be asked to reply back to an ex. An ex is an ex for a reason, honey. That is why you don't reply back, and well done, because most girls would jump at the chance to text back straight away. So fair on. If you see this as a dilemma, then honey, you are living your best life. Sit back, sip on your Prosecco, enjoy your life, honey. I don't even see that as a dilemma. Well done. Well done. I have a friend who constantly slags off 2 of her other friends when she's with me. Me trying to be a supportive friend, I listen and support. However, lately I feel she chooses those 2 girls over me and will go out with them without me having an invite. I know and have met these 2 friends, so why should you not be invited? I am not very confrontational, so want to avoid an argument, but I'm getting a bit low of being the one that's left out when normally she's slagging the people she's spending all her time with off. So again, very similar feelings. I just feel like if someone doesn't value you as a person or value like your friendship as much as you do, why are you with them? Like if you were in a relationship with a boy, you categorically knew that you loved them a lot more than they loved you, why are you staying there? You're just harming yourself, you know? So what is the difference with friendships? These people are supposed to be around to support you, to lift you up. Personally, I think that gossip can really lower your mood. So when she's there having all these conversations with you, obviously you want to side with her. She's your friend. You want to just be there for her and understand, like, you know, yeah, these other 2 people aren't good for you. Well done, yeah, you know, we'll just stick together, we'll be great. And then you see her off with these other 2 people, and not only that, you're not getting invited when you're the one who's being supportive of her. So sorry, I'm gonna assume that she's probably doing the same about you. It sounds like she's spending a lot of time with these 2 people, so obviously she would class them as her close friends, and in the same breath she classes you as a close friend. So if she's slagging these two people off to you, what do you think she's doing when she's with them? Do I need to get the scissors out? Also, look how pale I am. I'm really sorry. I've had to bronze up my face and my neck. I'm going away on Monday, so I'm saving my fake tan for over the weekend. Don't judge me. I just believe that if anyone can slag their friends off, they can slag you off as their friend as well. I think that those are unhealthy people to be around. If you're not confrontational and it's less hassle to just stay civil with this person and like keep them around, then just be wary, and I would just be very careful about what you trust them with. And maybe next time that she starts slagging these two people off, just throw in a little like, but you spend so much time with them, they can't be that bad, you know? Just spice it up a bit. You've met these other two people. Are they bitchy? Are they toxic? Can you understand where she's coming from? Or is she making a big deal out of nothing? Really is circumstantial, but I would just definitely say be very careful about who you keep close. I would have a bit of a red flag moment going on right now if it was me. Last one. How do you deal with pressure to look good all the time? I think this is quite tricky because I'm personally not someone who's affected by social media. Like I think it's because I don't allow myself to be. As soon as I start comparing myself to a girl or thinking I want what she has, then I will unfollow because I realise it's not healthy for me. So number one, I recommend you do that. Have a declutter of your socials. If you subscribe to someone on YouTube who doesn't make you feel good, if you follow someone on Instagram who doesn't make you feel good, because you know they could be lovely but they're posing in tiny little bikinis and they look bloody like a Barbie doll. If that makes you feel bad, just don't put yourself through looking at it, to be honest. You know, you can still appreciate someone without having to follow them on Instagram and like every picture. So I think number one, that's really important. If social media does affect you, or even if you don't realize it affects you, next time you're scrolling through your feed, just have a little think about like, oh, is this a little bit damaging? Am I, you know, busy thinking that that's what I should look like subconsciously? So number one, absolutely recommend having a declutter. I saw this post going around on Instagram the other day, and honestly it spoke to me on a different level. It was like back in, I can't think of like the years that it used, but it was like back in this year it was trendy to be really skinny. In this year it was trendy to have thin brows. Oh, and it said people used to cover up their freckles, and now people who don't have freckles put them on. You know, like we can do what we want. I think you have to understand that the only thing that makes you unique is being you. Trends are going to come and go, but you're always going to be here, and you have to do whatever makes you happy. Like if you want to go brunette, go brunette. If you want to have a bit of lip filler, have a bit of lip filler. If you want to make a more permanent change, then make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and not just to follow trend. We live in a world that profits off of us feeling insecure, specifically women as well. Do what you want, but don't focus on the current trends and really think about, is this something that you're going to regret? Because at the end of the day, it's only you and you're stuck with you for the rest of your life, and you should just do what you're happy with, whether that's going with the grain, against the grain, whatever you want. Someone's version of looking good is different to someone else's. Like, we always want what we can't have. Why don't we just start accepting what we do have and loving that? And believe me, I'm still working on this as well, honey. It's not an overnight thing. Do things because you want to and not because you see someone else doing it, or you feel like that is what you have to look good. Because then you're going to be chasing the next thing. You look good. Whatever you're doing, I'm telling you, you look good. Okay guys, finished. My camera's about to run out of memory, so I'm going to wrap this up super quick. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you did. If this gets a good amount of likes, then I know that you want to see another one. I'm more than happy to do these on a regular basis. It's so fun just like having a little chat with you guys. I loved it. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to go, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.